Hello, today I'm presenting you the Runemaster Hydrahedron, also known as Hydra build. We just reached level 100 and I'm gonna show some gameplay. We are in Corruption 530. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's take a look into the build. This is a Runemaster. It's pretty powerful, very fast mapper, and really good single target. So I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. You guys can see that I actually grabbed pretty hard modifiers on purpose, so you guys get a real idea of what how the build performs. Oh, it's over. Let's do another one so you guys get a better idea. Important. I don't want to lose too much time, and we'll actually do the boss, so you guys see the boss also, and you see the single target. Alright, and let's do the boss. Something juicy. Better, that won't be important.
Lost refuge is gone and I am all that. One magic has no equal. Perish. Why you run? It is hopeless. Precious. Burn, wretches. The void consumes all.
There it is.
Is this nightmare finally over?
No Ravenous Void. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hello, welcome to the Runemaster Hydrahedron build guide, also known as the Hydra build. We are currently level 100, we just hit it. We've been doing 500 plus corruption, you know, we killed the tier 4 bosses, etc. The build is an absolute beast, and we're just gonna break down on video format for those who don't want to read the full written guide. It's on Maxroll with all the details, but let's go over it. So first of all, let's talk over their skills. This is a Hydrahedron build, which is the Hydra spell, pretty much. The combination is lightning, fire, fire, and when we cast it, you can see there it is, and it throws all these spells that, as you can see, they're already doing a lot of damage without even buffing it. They were doing 100k, and with all the buffs that I'm gonna explain, you can make it hit to 500k, etc. And my gear is not even finished, so I'm pretty sure you can reach like 1,000,000 per bomb. Let's talk over their skills. Obviously, Runic Invocation is the main skill, and it's what converts, allows us to conjure the Hydra. Again, lightning, fire, fire. We're grabbing all the damage multipliers, different buffs, you know. And one thing that is very important to know is how Runic Energy works. Runic Energy especially not only gives us damage multiplier, but it also gives us a chance to repeat the invocations that we cast. So as you can see, we can have up to 9 stacks of Runic Energy with 10% chance for it to recast, so it's basically a 90% chance for it to recast. So you can see that right now, if I prepare my runic invocation and I cast it, it's gonna be 2, right? There are actually 2 Hydras at the moment, so it's double damage, right? I'm double projectiles. But you can see this build's pretty slow. Like if you wanted to spam this, right? You see the runic energy builds up pretty slow. But we can do something about it. So let's show it really quick, right? You can see we don't have runic energy, but if we build lightning runes and then we flame rush really fast, which I'm gonna do again because I flashed into the wall, you can see there, for every rune that gets shifted, we get extra runic energy. You see how fast it goes up? So this is really important because this basically, while we're mapping, helps us a lot to guarantee that we're getting those double procs, etc. Right? So make sure you learn how to manage your runic energy and you weave in the rune bolt in between to stack its buffs, to generate mana, and to make sure that you build up the right runic energy. So talking about rune bolt is basically a buff. It allows us to generate the lightning runes, and of course allows us to generate a lot of mana, gives us a bunch of buffs, defensive, offensive, multipliers, crit, etc. And also, gives mana on hit. So this node is pretty neat because when you cast it, it's gonna just like seek the enemies that are around you. So it's easier to generate mana, especially while you're mapping and it's hard to see where enemies are coming from, etc. Right? So again, basically a mana battery, and when you're playing, you want to be using your rune bolts, then you do your thing. You stack your cast speed buffs from the passive tree, and eventually this is how it looks like, right? You've probably seen it in the gameplay. Alright, next we have Flame Dash. Flame Dash is a crucial part of the build, obviously, because it's what casts the runic invocation on exit. So you can see if we have a rune and we cast this, it casts the Hydra for us, and this will proc the runic energy too. So if we had maximum stacks, we would cast 2 Hydras directly. Okay, very strong and a key component of the build. It gives us a lot of buffs. It gives us a lot of ward generation. It gives us shred. It consumes ignites to give us ward when we're fighting single target, and it gives us frenzy on exit so we can spam rune bolt faster. So overall, really great synergies. I would highly recommend making sure that you learn how to manage the server ticks. You can see right there the fire runes got made pretty slow, but sometimes the fire runes will be made very fast. You see there how I made them very fast, and now very fast, now very fast, now very fast again. Let's wait for a different server tick, and now very slow. So I find that having a single point here in runic invocation allows for the best control possible of your runes, but play around with these points just to make sure that you always generate 2 fire runes with Flame Dash, Flame Rush, and not more. Okay. Again, all the mana efficiency cooldown. The shorter the cooldown we have, the more Hydras we can have. At the moment I'm running with less than 2 seconds, and this is what you should be aiming for by trying to have cooldown reduction on every piece of gear. Okay. Then we have a Frostwall. Frostwall provides a lot of buffs, a lot of ward generation when enemies go through. It provides us a lot of Fire Shred that gets converted thanks to this. So the Frostbite is actually Fire Shred. And you can see if we go into an enemy and we place the wall on top of him, you see this stacks really fast. And we have more than enough to permanently stack this shred just by dropping that on the enemies. So again, very important for single target. Not only that, it gives us another damage multiplier here. It gives us a brand that allows us to proc passives that are brand related. We'll go over that. It gives us a cleanse, and obviously most importantly, it gives us flame ward on pass through. So every time we pass through here, we get flame ward with all its buffs. As you can probably tell, that means we can have it pretty much forever. This is pretty expensive to do, and that's where Rune Bolt comes in. So the entire rotation would be something like this. Right? So you're casting your rune bolts, you're placing your firewall, you're doing your thing, you get your mana back, you cast your rune ball again, you go up again, and so on. Okay. Right now I'm having a bit of collision with Flame Dash, but you get the idea. And obviously Flame Ward, which, because we don't actually need the classic charges, because we can have it with Frost Wall, basically, we can just basically toss Frost Wall on our feet, and that's how we proc Flame Ward while we're mapping. We can actually spec or Flame Ward way more offensively and way more utility that we normally do. So you can go for the damage points, you can go for the mana regen, which I highly recommend, especially while leveling, because the build, you will probably see, it just uses a lot of mana. If you just keep spamming, you see how it chunks mana, right? No matter what invocation you're proccing. So having the extra mana regen on Flame Ward is really nice. We go up to 21, and I barely have any mana regen on my gear. Literally just 1 tier of mana regen. So really nice. So this is for the skills. Again, everything is explained in the reading guide if you have more questions. But let's go over the passives. The passives are pretty straightforward. We grab this node just for the extra multiplier. The more damage, the better. If you didn't want this, you could grab Cast Pit. It's kind of up to you, but I like doing damage, so I grab the damage. It's not super significant, but there's a lot of multipliers in this build, and they all add up together. A bit of crit and crit multi, the intelligence, of course. We wanna go into Sork too and take the Arcane Momentum for the extra Cast Pit, because Rune Bolt is pretty slow by default. Since we're stacking it, might as well get the movement speed and the different buffs that it provides. Make sure you grab 5 points in intelligence, so we get a bunch of increased crit chance just from our intelligence. Really important. And then we go into Runemaster, which we grab the damage reduction, the intelligence, the area for skills. At the moment I'm using a wand, so I'm getting the crit multiplier with a wand. If you were using a staff, you would change these points around, like in some other points, like Rune Wars, more intelligence, whatever. And while you're leveling, I highly recommend also speccing into Mental Catalyst instead of all of this stuff up here while you're leveling, just so you get the bonus damage from crits with a Catalyst, which makes the gearing process way more manageable. A key note that we have to mention is Never Late. Never Late gives us 16 crit chance flat, and this will apply to the entire Hydra after we use a traversal skill, which is Flame Rush. So we use Flame Rush, we proc the Hydra, and the Hydra gets the 16th spell, and because the Hydra costs more than 30 mana, it actually gets that crit doubled, so it's actually getting 32 flat crit chance from this node. What this basically means is that we don't actually have to build any crit chance on our gear whatsoever, which allows us to go, for example, for a staff or like a crit multipliers, catalyst, etc. Really nice. Again, we grab the different damage multipliers, the cooldown with intelligence. Again, the more intelligence you have, the more cooldown, and the more flame rushes, the more hydras. And we grab all of these amazing damage multipliers. And the rune wards are pretty nice just for convenience while mapping. The effects they provide are pretty cool. So this is basically 6 free spell damage for 1 single point, pretty good value, even if we're doing fire damage. And this can provide a lot of armor, especially once we're fighting in single target, because we're going to be applying shocks with either or runic invocation if we have enough points for it, or just or gear. You know, you just get a bit of a shock chance on your wand, and you're good to go. Again, this ward on crit is very strong. This area and ward generation is really strong, as you can see on the mapping gameplay. We can get up to 10k ward while mapping easily. If you use something like Last Steps of the Living, you can even get more, like 10k plus, right? And yeah, it's very powerful. Also, this node we get the ward gained versus branded bosses, and the spell damage versus branded bosses. And how we get the brand is, like I mentioned, with Frost Wall. So basically, when you press this thing, you'll see that we actually apply the brand of Trespass right there, which allows us to do more damage. So this is pretty much how the entire thing works. And for gear, you really want to try to get this new experimental affix, the Ward on Kill. It's pretty easy to get. Make sure you got Armor Shred on both your amulet and on your gloves, really important, you know, intelligence, etc. And once you get Fundamental Criterion, you want to build Attunement everywhere you can. if you can, on your boots, on your rings, which I only have one ring at the moment, on your gloves. Eventually you should be able to get like up to 60 attunement. I only have 20 because you're getting 3% more damage per attunement. So again, if you had 100 attunement, that would be 300% more damage. So again, I only have 20, and this is the damage that I'm doing with my current gear. Let's see what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed that damage. Pretty good. As you can probably tell, it's a very solid build, very good damage, insane fast clear, really good gearing options, and actually a pretty good party member too. If you plan to play with friends, etc., there's slight adjustments that you can do to the build to make it even better. If you go to the skills and passive sections, you're gonna see that we grab quite a bit of these rune wards here that normally only affect you. But if you grab a single point, or just 4 points, sorry, into logocracy, you can actually share these rune wards to your entire party, which makes it actually really valuable to have a Runemaster on your party as a support. Keep in mind that you can apply, you know, shred, fire shred to all the enemies thanks to the frost wall. You can cleanse all your allies thanks to frost wall. You can give them mana regen when they proc flame ward themselves, and they get all the buffs from flame ward plus the insane damage reduction. You're gonna have to be careful with the mana consumption, obviously, because it's gonna proc its mana cost every time a team member passes through. But again, it's insane value for a party, and you should not underestimate a Runemaster on a party play environment, especially because there's gonna be nodes, for example, like Dissolve and Conquer, that scales with armor shred on the enemy. And since you're gonna be party members applying armor shred with you, this is gonna stack way faster, for example. So expect the build to ramp up in damage even faster when you play on a party. And again, if you're good with your wall placements, you can really enhance your party. You know, give them haste, give them frenzy, proc the flame wards. It's quite a sight to be seen. So again, the build can do absolutely everything. We cover everything in the guide, all the stat checks that you want to have, all the gearing progression, how to start with the catalyst, what to aim for, if you want to switch to a staff, how to do it, even though you can keep the catalyst, the best in slot gear, blessings, different options of blessings depending on your gear, idols, etc. Everything is explained in the Maxroll guide if you have more questions. Again, thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you guys for reading the guide. And I see you guys on Twitch. I see you guys on Maxroll. And I'm gonna play with more toys. The patch has been great so far, and I'm really happy with it. The monolith is really fun to play in with the changes they've done, and I'm overall really happy with the patch. See you guys on the next one.